I want you to show me how to get to know someone like you, someone like you. I want you to know me, 'cause I know then you'll see we can be true, we can be true. I want you to see what I see in us, something so real, something so real. I want you to see that this is a love that we both feel, that we both feel. And how will we ever know if the love will ever grow without trying, without trying? And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying.
Howdy you lot. So as you probably gathered, we're changing the manifold this time, and I've got most of them old studs out. Some of them are already loose, some of them came out, but some of them are a bit stubborn to start with. That one there's a very stubborn one. But a little bit of a tip, if any of you don't already know, to get studs out, you can just get your stud nuts and put them on like that. So you put one on backwards, another one on, and tighten them up against each other, so they're tight against each other, and then you use the nut only with one, put the spanner on one and undo it, and it'll pull out the stud. And then you do the same method in reverse to put the studs in. So it's a very easy way of doing it. Sometimes they're a bit stubborn though, and you have to put a bit of heat on them. I've got the heat there. So that's the old manifold that I suspect is warped. New manifold here. You can see there is slightly different. It's slightly different in the way that it's made. It's supposed to be slightly better performance as well, but because it's cast aluminium, hopefully it won't warp anymore, because that one has. So all I've got to do is get the old elbow grease. Got gaskets. Also got these longer studs. That's the old stud. Here's the new longer studs that I'm going to put in. That's the reason why I took the studs out. So I can use a spacer now, and because I'm going to use a spacer, I've got new stud nuts as well. And because I can use a spacer, it reduces the stress on the studs themselves. So hopefully none of them will snap or rip out with any luck. So all I've got to do now is give it a clean up, and then I'll put the new studs in, and we're away. I had to cut off that one, so I've got to try and sort one of those out. That stud there on the turbo to mount to the manifold, that nut would not undo, and then it rounded off, and I tried all sorts with it, heating it up and all sorts. In the end I just cut it off because I'd had enough. So got to try and get that out and put a bolt through it, so that'll be my next job. But we're getting there, slowly but surely we're getting there. Well, I've got the manifold on there now. It took me a long time, but I've managed to do it. The reason it took me a long time was because a lot of the manifolds, for some reason, people who make them don't make them. This is an Alisport one, and you know, I thought it was going to be a bolt-on job and easy, but I've been here for a while now. I've got them all on, but the main problem that I've got is there's this last one down there, that one there. Hopefully, I don't know, let's see if I can zoom in. The gap there. Well, I don't know why they do it. If you make manifolds, let me know why this is. Why can't they just put a little dent in there? I know they want it to be perfectly flowing and all that, but if you can't fit it, it's no use, is it? Surely. So I can't get a. There's a socket. Right. There's a socket. It won't go on there. Can't get a socket on there. You can't get a spanner in there. Well, you could probably get a spanner on the bottom of it, but how can you get a spanner on the bottom of that? You'd have to take all that off. All of that you'd have to take off. They'll probably turn around and say, yeah, you've got to take all that off just so you can fit the manifold. That's stupid, isn't it? So you can't get a spanner in there because you haven't got enough room to turn it. So I've done that up by my finger, and it's as tight as I can get it with my finger, but as we all know, that's not going to be anywhere near tight enough, is it? But luckily I've managed to get all the other ones done up. you know, I've had to do them all up and leave that one as it is, but I think it's going to leak. It's going to be pointless, and if it doesn't leak, that nut's going to vibrate off and I'm going to lose the nut and the spacer. But I can't find a way of doing that up. I was tempted to grind down an old socket. I might still do it. I might go and grind an old socket down to get it to go in there, so I've got a thinner socket, but it's not going to be ideal, is it? But I guess I'm going to have to do it in some way. But anyway, that's that. Anyway, that I've got it fitted eventually, and all I've got to do is, I think I'm going to leave the power steering lines because I'm getting fed up with them. So I'm going to leave them, put everything back together, and just have it as it is, I think. Got it all back together anyway. I've got to put the shroud and everything back on. Put some water in it for now. Got the heaters on full blast. Got to try and bleed it through, obviously. Can't see what the temperature's like from here. You lot can probably see. I can see on the screen it's still on nothing, so waiting for the temperature to start to rise, and hopefully if I get hot through the things. For those of you that don't know, when you start up a car for the first time, after you've emptied all the coolant out for whatever reason, you're going to have to bleed it through. Different cars have different procedures, but that just means getting all the air out. So what you do on every car, put the heating on, put it on as high as it will go, put the fan on as fast as it will go, and you're just waiting for hot air to come out through here. If the temperature goes up, and the temperature goes up to its temperature, but it's still cold, that means it ain't bled yet, and you still got air in the system, and you got to get all the air out. So if you want a video on that, I can show you a video on that one day, but that's what you got to do anyway. So I'm just doing that now, trying to get all the air out, but it'll take a little while to warm up anyway. So what you might have to do in a car that's got a viscous fan is turn it off until it gets up to its temperature, which it has done now, and then you can turn it on to see whether it's hot afterwards, because otherwise it takes years. Because if you've got the heating on full blast, it takes the heat out of the water. But you're getting the heat out of the water, you ain't going to be getting your temperature you need, are you? So look for it spraying in there, look. That means we've got a flow. I had a bit of an airlock, so I just had to take off that bleed nipple there and let a bit of air out. And now we're flowing. Now I'll start spraying out of there. Now we've just got to wait for it to get warm. Temperature's going down. Temperature's going down now. These are still not hot. These are warm, but they're not hot. So I need to wait a little bit longer. Get a bit more air out. Alright then, you lot. So I got it done in the end. I didn't do what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do was fix the power steering. But I didn't fix the power steering, because oh, the pipes, I just can't afford to do everything, so I've just had to put it back together and hope that the pipes don't burst. I don't know how that Essex Port 4x4 can think that that squeaking noise is a leak in that anyway, because it's, to me, it's a rubber sound. You know when you get two bits of rubber, like a bushing or something, squeaking, it goes and the wheels get stuck and then go a bit further. So I don't see how it's a leak, but they're professionals, so I'll just take their word for it that that little leak is causing the squeak, but I don't think it is. It's a bushing or a joint or something. But anyway, so I've got the manifold on eventually. I've been doing Instagram posts as I was making this video, putting Instagram posts up, and I put an @ thing to Alisport, and they actually replied, and they said it's because the studs aren't straight in the head. Well, I know the studs aren't bloody straight in the head because I couldn't get the old manifold off, and when I put the new studs in, they were all over the place. For some reason the little stud holes are all wonky, but oh well. I've had to leave that one stud. I've got something in my eye, can't get it out, bloody thing. And do you know what, I hate working on cars, absolutely despise working on cars. And one of the reasons why I despise working on cars, apart from the fact that they don't think about people working on it when they make them, like I had to grind down this good socket. It's the only one that I didn't mind grinding, but it's still a bloody good socket. I had to grind that down to try and fit in, to try and do that bolt up on that manifold. But people don't think about people fitting things when they design things. It's stupid. But anyway, one of the reasons I despise working on cars is because you have a straightforward job. Yeah, a straightforward job, it's easy. For example, fitting a manifold on an engine where it's visible like that. It's all, if it's different if it's down the back of the engine, stupid place to put a manifold. I mean, why you don't make more space? Anyway, it's different. But that should have been a couple of hours job, really. It should have been a couple of hours. I started at 7 o'clock this morning, and it's now 4:45 in the afternoon. That's another reason why I hate working on cars, is because you have a straightforward job, but then things stop you. Like I had suck bolts, I had everything like that. All you mechanics out there will know what I'm talking about. And I know it's just the way it goes, you know, it's just the way it is, rust and everything like that. But it's one of the reasons why I hate working on cars, and I despise it. But it's my lack of trust, you see. Every time I trust a garage, like when I trusted a garage to go and put that clutch in for me, what happened? Got ripped off, didn't I? The transmission shop over there in Canvey Island are a load of rip-off people. And I put my trust in them, and they betrayed my trust. So it's another reason why I don't trust people to work on my cars. I do it myself. But I hate doing it, my friends. Bloody hate doing it. Oh, man. Especially when you get stuff in your eye and you can't get it out all day long. Today's Father's Day, and the plan was to spend 2 hours out there putting that manifold on, because it shouldn't have taken long. Just putting on the exhaust manifold. All I had to do was take off the viscous fan, move the aircon pump out of the way, unbolt it from the turbo, the manifold from the turbo, or the turbo from the manifold, whatever way you want to put it. Unbolt the manifold, take the studs out, put the studs in, put a gasket on, put the manifold on, bolt the turbo back to the manifold, put the aircon pump back in, put the viscous fan on. That's it. Job done. But no. Anyway, thanks for watching, you lot. I'm going to go and test it next. In the next video I'm going to go and test out that manifold and everything, make sure there's no leaks, and then yeah, plenty more to come. God knows what else is going to be going on. Thanks for watching, you lot. Catch you on the next one. Take care.